मुझे ना डेंगू हो गया, मैं बेड रेस्ट पे हूँ, फुल रिफंड चाहिए था।
तो आपने 6000 की फ्लाइट बुक करी थी ना, जिसमें 2000 एयरलाइन के कटेंगे, 2000 बुकिंग साइड।
Good afternoon. This is Video Senior Trainer and International Master Chess Coach Sekhar Sahu welcomes you on behalf of Sports Authority of Gujarat and Gujarat State Chess Session to this intermediate training session. So first I present with you some interesting knight and pawn endgames. Hello Swankar. So in this position, the last pawn of white is the only source, and if black can win that pawn, it's a draw. So how should you play about it? White to play. In end game, it is not moves, it is the method of playing. White to play, he must convert the game into a king pawn end game. Hello, Mr. Venkatesan. So many endings, knight and pawn ending, and some several endings, we convert to a king pawn end game. Here, it is just white will sacrifice the knight at g1. The knight should come here, and then go to a king pawn end. First he must play, because there is an immediate threat, so only move. But then when he attacks, support. Now black has nothing better than attacking knight. Now improve the knight position. Now the problem is, he will come over here. Again he will come. Now we improve the knight to g1. Knight. There is no other choice. There is no other choice. Black has no choice. Suppose now if he comes there, white will go king e5 and win. So only move. Now if he comes there, if he comes here, it is easily winning. I think I missed. Only move. Because if king f3, king e5, only move. Knight must head to g1. This is the target. Now white will now sacrifice the knight, go for the h pawn. Now even now a finesse is required. A careless king f4 will draw. The correct move is king and then approach. The correct obstruction and winning the game. Many times we have to sacrifice the knight, go to a king pawn endgame. Now the situation is different. Normally, knight and pawn ending, the defending side has much easier task if the pawn is not advanced. A pawn on the 6th and 7th rank, it is more difficult for the defending side. It is a peculiar situation that the pawn on the 4th rank, still white wins. There are two aspects of the position. One, the black king is far away from the scene of action. Number two, the knight is restricted. So, first of all, white must drive the knight from the control of b5 square. Priority. So, knight comes here. Now, attack the knight. Again, the only move. Knight c2 is bad. He has to come to knight g1. Now, he has to. Knight c2 is losing. Losing to king. And winning. So, he must come here now, only move. Now, it is a difficult task. How would white make progress? White has managed to push the knight to a very poor square. What should you do now? How should you win? The point is, you cannot push the pawn now. If you push the pawn, the knight will attack and there is a fork. So, you must restrict the knight. Suddenly the knight has no move. So, he will bring, so push the pawn, push the pawn. Now, it is time to release the black knight. Check. Now suddenly there is no check position and white is threatening to queen in two moves. Check and knight check. Check. Now of course knight check is a winning, but this is pretty mate. Unstoppable mate. Unstoppable mate. Let's go to another knight pawn endgame. It is white to play and win. How should white win? When the pawn is on 6th rank, 7th rank, the win is very easy. The pawn on 6th and 7th rank, the winning method is easy. All you have to do, attack that knight and then you win the game. So, this plan is simple. You try to attack the knight. One second. Somebody passed away. Where is that? It happened. Binoy, correct answer. Knight to f6. Knight. The reason is, if he captures the knight, suppose you take the knight, king f6, king c7, draw. This is a bad move because draw. The king is unable to come out and knight will not gain a tempo. So, should not take the knight. So, knight to d5. And now, there is no other move. Knight has no move. Now, again only move. This is the time you attack. Again only move. No other move. Because king must stay in contact with these two squares. They must stay in contact. Only move. Now, you have to make a move with the king and zugzwang. No good knight move, no king. No good knight move, no king. Yeah. Winning. Zugzwang. Black is in zugzwang. Some more knight and pawn endgame. As I told you, pawn on 6th and 7th rank, it is very easy. But this is a peculiar position, rarely it comes like that. That pawn on the 5th rank wins. White to play and win. Every position is carrying a theme. Please note, every position carrying a theme. For example, the knight is restricted. The king is far away. So, you have to wait for an opportunity. Just king, just let me see your answer, then I will discuss. Not king f5, not timing, not king f5. The point is, you have to time in such a manner that king f5, black will win zugzwang. Not correct, not correct. King f5 is not correct. Many times you have to time a move. especially in endgame. In endgame, timing is very important. Yes, Manish Radia, king g5. Now king f5. The point is, now black is in zugzwang. The point is, it is black to play. If it is white to play, white has no useful move at the moment. White has no useful move at the moment. So, what you should do now? You should play king, because king cannot go far away. Suppose king goes to h8 and g8, then white wins king f6 and winning the game. So king has to come to b6. This is the time white is waiting. Knight fall, converting the game into a pawn. The only move. There is nothing else. Push. This is the theme. Over. Even if king supports, the same thing. Pawn to e7 and wins. So it is a question of timing. You play king f5 now. He is in zugzwang. But now if white to play, white has to go all the way around again. And that also is getting into. So only move, check, only move, push and wins. This position is white to play and win. I deliberately selected pawns on the 4th, 5th rank. White to play and win. Today's topic is some end games, some puzzles, followed by the main topic, science of winning chess. I will show what is science of winning chess. Play the opening correctly. Take the right moment to take initiative when you have a good center, good position. Okay, let's see. This position white to play and win. Not knight f3. No. Knight f3 is not correct. There is a finer point. In this kind of position, there is a tactical rejoinder. For example, you push the pawn. Then he will give knight check and knight attack, and he will handle the pawn. Knight check or knight will come and handle. Okay. So knight check and then you push the pawn, check, and now knight. With the idea, the knight is checking and go to the square and defend. So push the pawn, check and defend. No other square. But there is a drawback that the king is poorly placed. When you give knight check, only move, and knight check wins. This is lost. So the whole point is that you have to notice the bad placement of king also plays a role in knight and pawn endings. Only move. Again only move. Again only move. But then check, forcing the king, knight check wins. Let's go to the next one. This is also a different thing. White to play and win. White to play and win. It is a very strange position, you know. We know it is notation error, f5. So he attacks the pawn. The only move, there is nothing else. Now he comes. Again the only move, check. So black has to stop the pawn, give a check. And now what should white do? What should white do? What should you do? K. So you can there KV7. Correct answer. Correct answer. King. And now only move to stop. But then knight into pawn with a dual threat and dual threat. Must get mated or allow the queen. Allow the queen. Well done. This position is really hard, but it carries also a theme. Find out white to play win. This is a repetition. I had given it earlier in my lecture. So white to play and win. Correct. This is a repetition. We know answer is correct, but still there is a long way to go. The point is the knight is lost, so he makes a knight check. Knight check. The only move. Otherwise he will take the pawn. The only move. Push. Queen, queen. Even though there is queen on the board, white has the move. Having the move, there is a lot of things happen. So this is the position. Even though queen versus queen, white wins the game because black king is very poorly placed. Give a check. The only move. Now there is a mate threat. Now black has no check position. Black cannot give a check and he has to defend mate. So he plays queen to d3. Check. Now queen check and square. Even if he plays the move, this also loses. In this case also loses. Making a no. In this case, if he plays a move like this, making a room for the king. Again this. Once again mate threat. Only move. Now this is lost. Now this is lost. Same thing. Now you have to come here, only move. Now check, only move, check, again only move, and the mate. Square. I think one more night ending, one more night end game. Then I will take you to some puzzles. Today's puzzles will be very easy. Okay, let's play it out. White to play and win. No queen h5. In the position, no queen h5. There is no queen h5. Now for example, knight check, and now you take push, queen, and now check here, king. If queen h, where is come queen h5? Queen h5 is here. What the queen is doing? Where is queen h5? This is a mate in one. So if you play here, it is check winning queen. And if you play pawn push, now push. And now what? Now queen h5. Checkmate. Nothing is working. White to play and win. In endgame, timing is very important. Timing. This is the last night and pawn ending for today. No, not king d5. No. What is e7? It's a draw. If you push e7, it's a draw. King d5 is wrong. It's a draw. King d5 draw. King d5, knight check, and continuous checks will come. No, no, no. Not correct. Not correct answer. The point is, the solution is you have to put black into a zugzwang. You need to put black into a zugzwang. It is white to play and win. It is not black. Yes, you know your notation is wrong. Answer is right, your notation is wrong. It is B7, not C7. Knight check, and now this is the right square. This is wrong square. If you go directly, it is bad move. Because knight takes pawn, there is no good white move. That is why the correct move is wait with king d4, and only after it takes king d5. Timing, knight is now no good move, and king is also in trouble. There is no good move, no good knight move, no good king move. Now king has to move, attack the knight. If knight moves, the pawn push wins, winning. So knight has to take, but anyway that loses. Pawn push, threatening queen at both places. Threatening queen. So this is a question is timing. Question is timing. You must go to d4 first, and only now go to d5. Zugzwang. Forced, and now over. So let's see now. Go to some tactics. The tactics is much more easier today, so we'll finish it very quickly. Come on, white to play and win. How should white win? Kanakasri, Queen H1. Not correct. Surindra, not correct. Both are wrong. Not correct. Vinoy, not correct. Yes, Queen G5. Because if it takes, it is a mate in 2. Anyway, threat is checked. The only move lost. Now, whether you take, it is a mate in 2. If you do not take, rook check, and I win the queen anyway, lost. Correct answer. The position is a mate in 3. So I give you only 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Mate in 3. Only 30 seconds. Mate in 3. Come on fast. Hello, Taurit Mogu. Greetings. Rook G8 and then mate. The correct answer. Rook G8 and then only move and then mate. Bishop check and mate. Rook G8 and bishop checkmate. It is black to play. Black to play and win. Yeah. Correct answer. Correct answer. Surindra, Vinoy, creative mind, Kamaksos. Queen G3. The rook is waiting to give checkmate. G5. No answer. Simply no answer. The position is black to play and win. Black to play and win. This is a bit tricky. Fast, fast. This position is really tricky. Not the correct move. Rook D3 is not the correct move. Not correct move. Kanakasri and creative mind, we know not the correct move. There is a defense. Rook D3, white has a defense. You play Rook D3, you will play Rook C3. Oh, I see. That is also a mate. Yeah. This is also a mate. Rook C3, queen check. King here, queen check, king here. Yeah, that is also a mate. RD3 works. RD3 works. Because on this you have this check. On this you have this check. On this check. Okay, RD3 works. Works. Not RD2. Not RD2. RD3 works. Alright. Next. The position is white to play. White to play and win. Vinoy. Vinoy gives correct answer. Notation is wrong. Every time Vinoy is giving wrong notation. Answer is right. Surindra and Vinoy. Queen into b4. The point is, now you need to deflect. You need to deflect the queen. Because after the queen is deflected, you enter. You need to deflect the queen. So queen b5, threatening the rook as well and threatening queen. Answer is only move. Deflecting the queen. No, queen h6 does not work. Here, queen h6 does not work. This is not correct. He will take bishop takes knight. Now, queen h6 does not work. There is rook check. No, there is no deflection. The rook is controlled. So only move. Correct. Now only move. There is immediate mate threat. Even if he gives the queen, rook check, fails. And now he comes here attacking the bishop. But then simple. Now you can simply support. You can simply support and win. Okay. Queen a6, where is queen a6 comes? Now queen b5 is the correct move. You are forced to take, and now mate threat, only move to stop mate, and now only move, but then this wins. Because now you have to take the pawn. The simple threat is rook, and if you take the pawn, anyway mate. Never mind, it is a queen, okay. It is notation mistake, not coordination mistake. Kamakshi Vastu. The position is black to play and win. Who is this? Hello. Good evening. हाँ जितेन. नहीं अभी ऐसा है कि द पॉइंट इज दैट एफआई के लिए 600 पॉइंट क्रॉस करना पड़ता है, तो बोनस दिया तो भी नहीं होता है. नहीं अभी देखिए, अभी उसमें से जो क्राइटेरिया मैं आपको फोटोकॉपी भेजता हूँ. अभी रूल सब चेंज हो गया, नया रूल आ गया. ओके अच्छा, मैं अभी आपको क्राइटेरिया का फोटो में भेजता हूँ क्लास के बाद. नहीं आपका अभी देखिए, अभी रेटिंग का, एक्सपीरियंस का मैं जितना हुआ दिया है मैक्सिमम. ओके अभी देखिए, मैं जो मेरे पास है उसमें से ही दिया, और मैं क्लास लेता हूँ, मैं बात करता हूँ आपसे. लेकिन उसने ऑलरेडी सबमिट किया तो भेज दिया होगा फिले को. नीरज सर को किया था, मुझे मेरे पास नहीं था. नीरज सर मुझे ऐसा कुछ दिया नहीं है, और जो है मैं मैक्सिमम करवाया. ओके नहीं अभी ऐसा है, 600 पॉइंट क्रॉस नहीं होता है वो फॉर्म दिया तो भी. नहीं नहीं नहीं, ऐसी बात नहीं है. ऐसा है तो आप विशाखापट्टनम आ जाओ, भारत सिंह को बोल के मैं रिकमेंड करूँगा. हाँ हाँ, ओके ओके. सॉरी फॉर द इंटरप्शन. ऑल राइट, ये जो है दिस इज करेक्ट आंसर. द पॉइंट इज you need to deflect the queen from here. This is the target. So bishop into knight forces the rook and that brings c5, forces the pawn and winning. Now he must lose the rook. Clearly winning. Forcing, now forcing, and now rook cannot move, queen cannot move, lost. The correct answer. The correct answer. It's a mate in 3. The point is, you can see the mating pattern, but execution is correct, important. Execution is important. All white pieces are coordinating, minor pieces. Mating net. Knight e7. Not correct answer. Not correct answer. Kanakasri, not correct. Yeah, it is not knight e7, knight into d6. This is the correct move. Knight e7, you are giving a choice. King will run away. Only move. This is the only move and mate. Mate. When you play knight e7, it is not a mate. You give knight e7, king will run away to b7. So only move. Knight into only move and knight d e7 mate. White to play and win. The point is, it is a mate in 3, 1, 2, 3 mate. The point is, your knight and rook are aiming this point. Knight and rook is aiming so the knight cannot move. But if you give queen into queen, bishop check, there is a defense. This is the defense. So eliminate the defense. Force. Now queen takes, mate. Mate in 3 it was. The position is white to play and win. The correct answer by Surendra. The correct move. Queen into. Forced, double check. Forced. Now check. Forced. This is forced. So, double check and winning. Otherwise, queen takes, double check, you have to come here. But then rook check, queen h6, gh6, check and wins. Because if he comes here now, you don't have to give a disk check. I think what can we do here? I think this whole lot of pawn, this should win. Check. No, knight here should win. Not the correct answer. This is not the correct execution. Queen h6, gh6, check, should win. Now if he plays this, I think this should be winning. I think this should be winning. Cool rook g7 should win. Okay? This is over. The king cannot come out. Zugzwang. The queen cannot move, the king cannot move, the rook cannot move. Rook cannot move. Zugzwang, it is a zugzwang. The position is white to play and win. No, f7 cannot be played. Queen n2 and then knight e7 is the only move. Last diagram. Not rook c5. Kamakshi Bastu, Kanakasri, not rook c5. Wrong answer. No f4. Mahendra, no f4. Player must notice the strength of his pieces. Yes, Vinoy, the correct answer. The queen, your rooks are joined. Now, if you take queen into, rook into, this is a winning endgame. And if you take pawn into, then he will win the rook, and the loss of queen is inevitable. The loss of queen is inevitable. The correct answer, Vinoy. The position is black to play and win. Request to correct answer. Kamakshi Bastu Kanakasri, this is the correct one. Opening the diagonal. Opening the diagonal. If king into, this check wins. Forced. Now rook check wins. Rook check wins. So you have to take rook into. You got to take rook into, but that opens up the diagonal. That opens up the diagonal. Check. Finish. Parthi, finish. If here, rook queen checkmate. Well done. Well done, Kamakshi. It is not easy to see this move. Rook into, opening the diagonal. Forced. You have no time, you cannot give time to opponent. सब कुछ बदल जाएगा. एक मूव में सब कुछ बदल जाएगा. Okay. If you play rook here, is not correct. He will play rook into rook and pawn into draw. Close, and rook into this is just pawn another rook. So you lose the thread. The position, it is white to play and win. Very easy, it's a piece of cake. The correct answer 1, 2, 3 mate. 1 and now 2, 3 mate. Well done. Very easy it is. Next. This is a very hard one. Black to play and win. Hard one. I give you time. Black to play and win. I give you time. This is a hard one. It is very difficult. Try. Try. It is very difficult. No, no. The point is now your queen is in a fantastic place. When you give a check, the king is having a flight square. All you need to work on this square. Not working. You have to work the king. If when you give a check, the king is running away. So you need to work on this square. The correct answer, rook f2. The main idea, now if he takes the, now you, immediate bishop check does not work. Immediate bishop check, the bishop will come back. So take the knight. And there is immediate mate threat. The threat is now bishop check and mate, winning the game. Now there is no answer to the mate. There are two threats now, bishop check and queen check. So you cannot take the rook. And rook e1 loses to rook e2. Idea, now the bishop is lost, knight is lost. And finally, if you play here rook d e1, this is lost. And what other move you can do? You can play here queen a3, knight into knight, knight into knight, pawn into, no, you can play queen a3, then queen into queen, pawn into, knight into, this is also lost. Here you play rook f2 loses to rook d g1, this also, knight e5 loses to, and he will be a piece down. The position is white to play and win. Yeah. Immediate rook f2 finish. Rook f8 finish. You cannot take this mate, and on this, on rook into rook, bishop takes, and no stopping mate. Last piece of tactics. हो गया. Now basically I want to tell you now about typical opening preparation at high level. For example, now knight f d4 f5 f5. You know, you will see Korchnoi in his younger days have played g4. It is not good. You take the center, and when you try to defend, play dislodge, then g3 comes, giving trouble to white. So masters improved here. When you play f5, they started playing h3, so that the pawn is taken immediately. Now I can play g4, take, and this is a good position because there is no pawn here. But later on, one game Botvinnik played knight f3, so f5, because the Dutch player, they have to play f5. Next move d4 is coming, so f5. Then they used to play this idea, hitting the e4. Then someday there are some masters said, why play d3? There is no need to play d3, direct play f5, e4, a gambit. Directly play a gambit. Now you take, and then when you come here, I offer a pawn. So let me discuss this variation before I go to other openings. So white is here, Magnus Carlsen, young Magnus Carlsen is white. Idea, hit e4. And then d4. So now there is a pressure on the center, and now e4 does not work. E4 does not work. किधर गया? So in this position, if you castle, he will get away. Pressure. The check does not help. On queen e7 check, he can just play king to d1 or f1. It is very difficult to get out of the position now. No other answer. Castle loses, and now the threat is bishop takes f6 and winning the game. Forced double attack and over. So this is just an example that how one can treat Dutch defense when you play knight f3. Let me show some more interesting games. This is Grandmaster Michael Rode, who was a very dynamic Grandmaster from America. In his younger days, he was a very sharp player. Now you need to open up the game further, not knight into pawn. Open the game completely. Pawn into n pass, brings the bishop out. d5 does not come because of queen h5 check. Plus minus. The only move. Queen e7 is not possible. Queen e7 loses the bishop. Now castle is not working. Not possible. And there is a grip on the center and the king is immobile. It is lost. For example, you must lose material now. The only move. Now the pawn is advancing further. Now pawn into bishop does not work. Now pawn into pawn. And it is rook check. It is killing. So the only move. Finish. It's a finish. So what we observe that the variation after knight f3 f5, you don't need to play d3, direct e4. I will show you two critical games of Grandmaster Rode and one of Grandmaster Jaron Piquet. Okay. Now you can see Black is a very well-known coach, one of the famous coaches, and Russian Grandmaster, migrated to America, and he was a well-known Dutch player. E4 gambit. Originally, Botvinnik started it. The inventor of the line is Botvinnik. Okay, this is not a problem, Mahendra. I will tell you how to play if nf3, g3, bg2 castle. I will show you how to play. But provided there is time today, okay, I can deal in the next class. Now, trying to defend, it does not do good. Because pawn push, this is what the Botvinnik game. Now the threat is knight check and then bishop mate. And even if you play here, still knight into pawn. Now rook into knight, bishop check. Now, even though material is with black, the white pawn is menacing. Simply no stopping. h4, no stopping h5, h6. This is just rolling. This is just rolling. Okay. So here, no, this is not the line. So d5. Because you can't push this, you can't play this. So, and this is a threat now. So black does the best to close the line. Now there is still very active position. You can't play h6, g6, and if you play d4, bishop c4 is coming. d4 loses to bishop c4. Now, even though I mean there is no immediate threat, black is very uncomfortable. Wonderful game by Grandmaster Michael Rode. What else? Black will drive the knight. What else? But there comes the shock. There comes the shocker. Now if you take the knight, he can give knight check or knight check, bishop check, finish. This is finish. So here you cannot take pawn into knight. Rook into. Now queen into rook loses to bishop c4. So only move. And you have no time to take knight also. If you take the knight, that I think here the win could be achieved. How to win this game? Is the winning? What did I notice here? What did I notice here? He played. Why he did not take this? Let me see. I think queen c4 wins, because if after this rook into, and this is running into a check with a huge advantage, extra pawn and one very bad pawns, it should win the game. So queen e8 is only move, but then again discover attack, only move, finish. Brilliantly played. Mat threat, rook threat, c7 threat. Again knight checkmate threat. Resigns. Getting out of the pin. Now white is having extra pawn and also initiative, winning the game. So Grandmaster Palatnik was not convinced with this. So he challenged again. Again the same players meet next round, next tournament. Again the repetition of the opening. This time he did not play the same thing but returned the pawn. Now bishop c4, not allowing castle. So white has achieved his object. Black king is in trouble and the center is in control. If you play h6, g6 and all very weak moves, you cannot tolerate the knight, but anyway it is bad. Knight into e4 is ruled out. Knight into e4 simply castle with a big initiative, because after castle some knight c3 and then knight later on the g6 square, the diagonal and development, all problem for black. Finish. Only move. Well, now there is he cannot develop the pieces. nd5 is killing. After nd5, the g4 pawn in trouble. The defender. f5. Short castle is threatened with a winning position. So what we observe, that this line of taking the gambit, it is not easy. Not easy. I will show one modern masters game in this, Jaron Piquet. So not an f6 but d5. Now accepting the pawn is bad, already I have discussed. I think many players play, this is very difficult. It is, you cannot keep tolerating the knight there long time, it's bad. Now it was best to play double up. But even though white is better, there is a long fight. This is the best move. But under the pressure, many players crack. They play h6. Queen b6 does not work. if you play some queen c5, or queen b4 check, the square is unguarded. For example, now suppose you play queen b4 check. Now check, and queen g6. So black queen must protect the g6 square. He must protect g6 square. Only move. Enough for the piece. White has sacrificed a piece, but more than enough compensation. Look at the no development. Look at the weak squares, and also 2 pawns in the pocket, 1 pawn in the pocket. It is a normal phenomena that many times a player sacrifices a piece for 2 pawns for initiative. It is not easy to defend e6, g6, f7. So many squares, and these pieces are not coming out. Bishop check is threat. Now bishop into bishop, bishop check and mating attack. You have to be careful. A queen exchange can come, so stopping. With a great attack. Now black pieces are not able to come out easily, and white rook is coming now. White rook is coming with a deadly initiative. Let's finish. Lost position. हेलो, एक्चुअली आपने मेरे को भेजा, मेरे वीडियोस को भेजा था, तो बेसिकली क्या है ना कि एक्चुअली रेटिंग के हिसाब से आपका 423 पॉइंट हुआ. ओके, हेलो, 423. अगर 500 के करीब होता है ना तो मैं 100 पॉइंट का बोनस दे सकता था. जो 50 पॉइंट का बोनस अलाउड है. नहीं, वो सब है. अभी रिजल्ट तो पब्लिश हो गया तो फिर हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. नहीं, मुझे अगर आप हर एक आपके रूम में ढूंढते थे वो, क्योंकि मुझे नहीं था, मेरे पास जो है ना रजिस्ट्रेशन उसमें ही करवाया मुझे. उसमें से आप थोड़ा लिखा है. ओके, हेलो, वो शायद वही होगा. अभी क्या करेंगे, अभी देखिए आप विचार करना आ जाएंगे गवर्नमेंट पक्का. हाँ, आ सकता है, ऐसे डोनेशन दे हो जाए. पार्ट टाइम हो गया, लेकिन अभी देखिए अभी हमारी तरफ से कोई चुप नहीं है. अभी आपको मुझे मिला, आपने मेरे को बोलना चाहिए था कि आपका सब देखा. रिजल्ट के बारे में मैं देखा, सब अकॉर्डिंगली दिया है. सब जो लिखा है ना उसके ऊपर दिया है. सिर्फ एक्सपीरियंस, स्किल का दिया है मैंने, स्किल का भी दिया है, लेकिन एक्सपीरियंस जो है ना, जो टीचिंग का, उसका मेरे को डिटेल नहीं आया, थोड़ा सा लिखा है। तो आपने नीरज को भेज दिया, नीरज को मेरे को पास नहीं किया। अभी हम देखिए अभी एक बार पब्लिश हो गया, मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता। ऐसा है, आप देखिए, सुनिए, 3 दिन के एयर शो का तो खर्चा, आना जाने का खर्चा और कुछ नहीं। आप एक बार सुनिए, देखिए, दो बड़ी अभी आप बाहर सिंह को बोलिए और पहले कमेंट कर दें, आप आ जाइए 3 दिन पे, तो हो जाए। ओके, नहीं अभी देखिए, ये कोऑर्डिनेशन का बात है। सी, अभी मेरे पास जो फॉर्म है उसमें से सब करके दिया है। मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ, आपके सामने है, एक मिनट, आपका जो मार्क्स है ना, मैं बोल रहा हूँ, एक मिनट जस्ट है, मेरे सामने ही है, मेरे सामने है। सी, सॉरी, आपका है ये इधर, रेटिंग के हिसाब से आपको मिला है, रेटिंग के हिसाब से आपको मिला 100। ओके, लेवल भी आपका अच्छा रखा है मैंने, और रिजल्ट में दिया 100 मैंने। नहीं, आर्टिकल के लिए, स्किल के लिए है ना, मैं 80 दिया है, 100 में से आपको 80 दिया है, आपको 80 पर। देखिए आपका जो मार्क्स आया है ये है कि आई हैव गिवन, कि आपने जो सर मेरे को क्या है, आप अगर दे सकते थे कि यू हैव टॉट फॉर सो मेनी ईयर्स जो एकेडमी, तो आई कुड हैव गिवन मोर मार्क्स। सुनिए, अभी एक्सपीरियंस में आपका दिया 100, तो इट कुड हैव बीन 150 180 तो हो जाता था। आई हैव गिवन यू, देखिए 423, यू विल बी इन टॉप 7 में आएगा, टॉप 7 में आएगा, समझे ना। नहीं, वो मेरे को नहीं था। देखिए, आई हैव गिवन यू 423, इसमें से मीन्स यू विल बी इन टॉप 5 में आएगा, टॉप 5 में आए। मैं समझा रहा हूँ कि यू आर इन द 29 से आप टॉप 5 में, तो वही फॉर्म से हिसाब से मैंने दिया हूँ कि यू हैव गॉट 423। अगर वो मेरे को बाकी का सब मिलता था ना, और 70-80 होता था, देन यू वुड हैव गॉट द 5। अभी देखिए, नहीं, अभी देखिए आई हैव डन, मैं कुछ कम नहीं दिया है आपको। आई हैव गिवन यू, रेटिंग तो फिक्स है। अभी स्किल के ऊपर भी बहुत अच्छा दिया आपको मैंने, 80% दिया स्किल का। ओके, एंड देन वो रिजल्ट के हिसाब से यू कुड हैव गॉट अनदर 80%, अनदर 80 मार्क, तो हो जाता था। नहीं, मुझे आपको मिलना चाहिए था। ओके, अब जरा मैं क्लास ख़त्म करके बात करता हूँ आपसे। ओके, सो दिस इज फिनिश, game over. Resistance of black is no more. You cannot take knight into knight, opening the blockading the pawn, finish queen, because e5 will be cracking. Back rank clear, now ready for operation, finish. So this itself shows that this is a very dangerous line. हेलो सर, कुछ बात हुआ सर? मैं जाऊं क्या सर? आप परमिशन दे तो जाऊं? हाँ ठीक है, मैं निकल जाता हूँ सर, आज कल रात को। ओके सर। Okay, so here now I will continue with the other games. Now I will tell you, it is the most difficult job of a chess coach to convince a student or guide a student how and when, where to take the initiative. It's not easy. The only thing, the student must get used to thousands of positions or maybe lakhs of positions about good, bad, about the outcome of a consequence of a move. So let me show you, present you some games. Nimzo Indian defense, the main line. Now, simple. Of course, here d5, c5 is the main line, knight c6, bd3, and now knight e2. The variation is not good. It is better. It was better to play here. It was better to play here c5 and d5, and followed by nd7, nc6, but not a good move. Knight. Okay, so e4, bad move. The point is, I told you, the job of a coach is a very most difficult thing. How to convince a student when, where, and how to take initiative. Now you can see that the knight is unprotected. The queen is watching. This is the point. Okay, you may ask me, so what? What you can do about the discovered attack on the knight? The point is, now black opens up the game. What is the drawback? Here the knight is well placed, controlling the center. Here the knight is well placed, controlling the center. Controlling the center. But he has left, giving a free hand. So, fantastic move c5, castle c5. The idea of black is to plant the knight, but he never gets time. Now the planned attack is not working and black cannot castle on the queen side. Bishop a3. Now b6 is unplayable. b6 loses material. b6 loses material. Pawn takes pawn, bb5, queen a4, etc. The threat, d5 threat, split wide open, complete. Now the two bishops are menacing. Ignoring the rook now, knight d5. Ignoring. The point is, here if you play c6, that loses to I think c6 will lose. Guess queen d4 should be enough. Queen d4 should be enough, because this fails to bishop to e7 and winning. So only move support, but then only move. winning. The position is lost. The queen is running out of good square. Now bishop into pawn, rook attack, bishop takes and knight check. Lost. So it was very important. It was very important that Grandmaster Geller found the right time here. You see, g5, g5, c5. Does not work because the king is castled, uncastled king. You need to open. Fantastic move. Okay, next game by Grandmaster Geller. Normally a player should play e6 d5, e6 d5 or c6 d5 or e6 bishop check g6, but this is bad because it gives easy center to white. e4, knight c3 is also white better, but initiative knight. Anything is bad. Already the position is bad because the pawn is a cramper here and the bishop is ready to come. Some future Greek sack. So bd2. After knight into knight, there is nothing left. You will just keep wandering with all development. Intermediary move. Intermediary move. Nothing now. Knight into knight. Now you can see the king is uncastled, the queen is exposed, no development. Finish. Party finish. The only move. Again the only move. Now heavy pieces on the board, queen and knight. Finish. One pawn up, uncastled king, no coordination, it's all over. So what I am trying to explain, the player, we cannot allow such a thing to full center to white, because white having extra move, it will be very dangerous to allow move like this. It is important. You should play e6 d5 or c6 d5, not direct d5. It is just terrible. Knight c3 is good, but this is stronger. So the position is hopeless. After the move, the threat is queen into knight. Resign, because here it is a mate and here there is knight check and finish. You can give knight check also. Knight check also finish. Idea winning rook. So, but this is mating. Resign. So it is important that there is a sudden death if you allow some initiative early stage of the game. So this is stone wall. Normally the stone wall is okay because he is having a grip on the square, but having a burden, a bad piece. If you want to play Dutch, Leningrad Dutch is better. If you want to play Dutch, it is better to play here g6, now d4, f5, now bg7, knight f6. This is better, a safer way to play, but this is bad. Okay, black has managed to keep a wall, but the wall will not stay long time. Now the whole point is, sooner or later the break must come. White should prepare for the break, but you must complete development, wait for right time. Development of bishop is necessary. There is no other way out. Now, white is getting ready. Next move, this break will collapse the king's position. Finish. Finish. The only move. Now rook is ready. Now rook is ready to go to h2 and mate. If your king takes it, rook h2 and it is leading to mating attack. So only move. Only move. Winning. Joylan Browning, greetings. Normally black setup is good, g6 is good if the pawn is already on e3. This is a good setup for black, it's a new Grunfeld. But if the pawn is on e3, black is safe. If the bishop can come to f4, g5, it is not very good setup for white. So bishop f4, bishop f4. This is a bit troublesome. Positionally, black has lot of pressure. Okay, Grandmaster Smyslov used to play after pawn into pawn and used to play this. But this is not good for black. Well, actually it is not justified, but there is a problem. He can't play c5 and nb d7, pawn into pawn. He can't play c5 and after that d7, pawn takes pawn. He is in a bad way. So only move. Queen should not be exchanged. Now this is suicidal. This is suicidal. Giving the dark square, the only defender of the king. There is no guard in the black's king castle position. So, castle. Centralization of queen is key to the middle game strategy. Now, not rook c1, rook to center. Now watch this rook. You watch this rook, where it is going, where it will come. Forced. You cannot develop. You cannot develop. The threat is deadly. I call the Russian knight has entered. And now there is a lot of pressure. Now knight g5 move is coming. You have to stop ng5. Now making a target with the bishop. Forced. The rook is overloaded to defend. The rook is overloaded to defend. How are you going to defend? Rook into rook, it is a mate. Rook into rook will lead to a mate. Lead to a mate. No answer. Resign. So the whole point is you have to break the stone wall. Simply this is not at all a good idea to play No, not good. All right. Jail and Browning, welcome. So, last game. Now, after the most popular line bg4 f3 knight f5, you can give a check and white stands better. Anatoly Karpov has proved more than once, several times. Or even you can play pawn into pawn and then knight f5. It doesn't matter. White stands better. But in this variation, he plays pawn into and then knight f5. It is okay, but it is very passive. Black is playing very slowly. d5. This is bad. The best move was rook c8. After rook c8, the defender's task is much easier. Though white stands better, black should eliminate the rook. That is very important. But this is terrible move. Okay, you don't see a finish, but the weakness will hound him. It will hound him. It is not easy to defend the weakness. Bishop c8 is bad. Queen e7 is bad. So he played queen d6. Anyway, queen g4. Bishop c8. Unexpected stroke coming. Idea, decoy the queen so that I can sack. Forking. Fork and wins. Winning. So you cannot play bishop c8. The only move rook. Rook into f4 does not work. This is the most critical line. Normally it is difficult to foresee the variation. Grandmaster Geller gives after rook into, bishop takes, queen into, queen check, king. Now bishop here. I don't see good answer. Number one, there is a penetration. Number two, there is simple threat. Cannot guard both. Rook c8 doesn't work. Rook into rook and queen checkmate. So you cannot play rook into f4. The only move. But then attack the rook. Now material is equal, but look at the active white pieces. The knight is a spectator, as if it is not in the game. Finish. Difficult to defend. Check. You dare not exchange, lose material. And a mate. Knight check and queen check and mate. Now queen cannot move. The knight check is finished. Winning the queen in the game. Lost. Of course, he can take it, but bishop check, rook checkmate. So what I meant to say, this is most difficult. It is not easy. That a simple error like e6 can be so lethal, so dangerous. So thank you very much, friends, being with me. I will be back at 6 p.m. today for the next session, practical training games. Take care and bye.